Hello, family. I'm Robert. I'm a real alcoholic. I want to welcome everyone to the Atlanta Step Up Society book study. Change your thinking, change your life. Let's open with a moment of silence, followed by the serenity prayer. Serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I see a few new faces in here tonight, and I just want to explain what we do. In Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and the other 12-step program, we have literature that gives us instructions on how to stay clean and sober. And for Alcoholics Anonymous, we use the book of Alcoholics Anonymous. In other words, the book came, the name came of the group came after the book. So we, in here, we study it in detail, paragraph by paragraph, sentence by sentence, word by word. We'll break it down to the best of our ability. Me, myself, personally, I've been studying this book for like 19 years now. And every time I have a group or I have to go and do the study, I usually go in my office or where I'm at and try to study for about 2 hours. You know, I contemplate on what's going on, you know, and I pray, you know, and I always ask God to allow me to be the best 12-step teacher on the planet, on earth. You know, I'm not afraid to jump off the edge of the cliff. You know, a lot of times I meet a lot of people that have good ideals, but they never put them in operation because they'll go up to the cliff and halt. Won't jump off to the world of the unknown. And I will. And I get to a place and I have something big on my mind and I want to do it. I think it's a diving board. I get on that edge and I jump as high as I can and far as I can and just fall into God's hand. Yeah. That's me. And if you do it enough, it's a wonderful place to be. Fear, I don't know. You know, somebody was asking me, and I'm just saying this to allow you to know that it's possible. It's in everybody. Everything, about everything, anything you want is inside you already. Go to the edge and jump off. It's there. You know, I was telling someone, a relative came, I haven't seen him for a long time. And he says, I know you've been clean long time. I've been watching you on YouTube. I think it's fantastic what you do. Do you ever think you're going to go back down? I said, what? I said, you really don't understand. I have developed something. I had an allergy before. I was allergic to alcohol and drugs. I'm allergic to the bottom now. I'm not going back down. I'm allergic to it. I don't want no parts of nobody's bottom. I'm allergic to it. I don't do bottoms. That makes sense? I'm not being cocky, but I ain't doing no more bottoms. I ain't doing no more rock bottoms. Y'all might want to do them and have fun at it. But I'm allergic to that stuff. I'm going to stay up here where it's nice, peaceful, you know, eat right. If I want to go to any restaurant, I can go. I'm not saying I'm a filthy rich one. But I want to buy a ride in the car, I'm going to ride in the car. If I want to take a vacation, I'm going to take a vacation. I ain't doing no more rock bottoms. Not me. I'm allergic to them. And I think that was the whole idea of staying clean and sober anyway. That's what we're here for. To be happy, joyous, and free. That's what the book says. And to avoid the fear. Stop being afraid. And then the book is going to go on into that tonight. About how it's gonna represent what I'm saying tonight. But tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to start on we're still in working with others. But we're going to talk about the domestic part. When you're an alcoholic and you're an addict, you still have family. Now, they're ending with, you know, I can see how the book unfolds itself. because to me this book is spiritual in nature. We're going to talk about the domestic situation with the alcoholic and the family. And then as soon as that's over, it goes into the chapter 2, the wise. You know? So it's unfolding, you know, like one of them cartoons with you flip back. It's unfolding, but it's making a statement. It's opening our mind now. So let's talk about the alcoholic and the domestic situation, and then when we come back off vacation, we're going to go into the chapter we call 2 Wise. Alright? So tonight we're on page 98. And we're going to start, we're going to start where it says, now the domestic problem. But I wanted to just go over one thing, because you know, this 12 steps is in this entire book. It's kind of like you have to really understand the 12 steps, or have done the 12 steps to see where they put them all through the book. That makes sense? Mm-hmm. If you don't have a working knowledge of the 12 steps, it doesn't give you, you're not going to get what you're really supposed to get out of it. You'll get what you probably need, but you're not going to see the pattern or the mystery. It's a mystery. You're not going to see the mystery or the flavor of the book without the 12 steps. I can sit here and explain to you the mystery of it, but I will hope you do the 12 steps for yourself so you can see them for yourself. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, let's start. Well, I just want to do one thing first, Paul. Burn the ideal. Y'all see that chapter? A paragraph? Burn the ideal into the consciousness, to the mind of every man, that he can get well regardless of anyone. No matter who is around you, what is around you, people, place, things, or situations, you can get well. The only condition is that he trusts in God. That's steps 1, 2, and 3. And clean house. Step 4 through 9. Y'all see that? Every time they say trust in God, step 1, 2, and 3. The house cleaning steps is step 4 through 9. Alright, now you can start.
Now the domestic problem. There may be divorce, separation, or just strained relations. When your prospect has made such reparation as he can to his family and has thoroughly explained to them the new principles by which he is living, he should proceed to put these principles into action at home. That is, if he is lucky enough to have a home. Though his family may be at fault in many respects, he should not be concerned about that. He should concentrate on his own spiritual demonstration. Argument and fault finding are to be avoided like the plague. In many homes, this is a difficult thing to do, but it must be done if any results are to be expected. If persisted in for a few months, the effect on a man's family is sure to be great. The most incompatible people discover they have a basis upon which they can meet. Little by little, the family may see their own defects and admit them. These can then be discussed in an atmosphere of helpfulness and friendliness.
It says, all right, now the domestic problem. There may be divorce, that's number 1, separation, number 2, or just strained relations. If you got a significant other or something, or a wife or a husband, you're going to fit in one of them 3 categories continuously. You're going to be in one of them. If looking at each other and say, we need separation. Or the relationship will be strained on any given day. So we have to learn how to deal or live with that stuff around us. Alright? When your prospect has made such reparations, amends, as he can to his family, and has thoroughly explained to them the new principles, that's the 12 steps, by which he is living, he should proceed to put these principles into action at home. In any situation that you're in, anything that's going on in your life, you must work on yourself. That makes sense? I find that in my 21 years of recovery, I can honestly tell you that I have developed a sixth sense of peace. I really do have some peace inside of me, inside my mindset. That, you know, sometimes my wife will say like, you're avoiding me. You don't want to hear what I got to say. I think I done got real good at the peace part. I'm not avoiding you. I just don't want me to get stirred up. I kind of see, well, I ain't going to say my wife. I'm not going to do it because you do watch these films. But I'm going to say arguments. I see arguments and situations like I'm watching The Housewives. Even though it's around me, I don't have to participate. It's like a TV program to me. And when I get tired, I just change the channel. You can still be arguing with me, but you on channel 2, I'm on channel 7. I'm not listening to that. Because the worst thing for me is to get that peace disturbed. You know what I'm talking about? And then you get the peace disturbed that's inside of me. I have to now go search. I'm off sync. I'm off balance. I have to go find a place to regain that. To regain that. So my thing is that I have developed that. So I have to work on myself to maintain that peace. So, you know, some people say, well, you have people all the time, why are you not doing this for money? I'm getting paid. Because you don't know why I started. You don't know nothing about me. If you ask me to teach the 12 steps for money, you're the fool. Because you don't know me. If you knew what I have transferred, what the 12 steps have given me, the kind of peace I have in me, the kind of things that I can do with my mind, my God, it ain't about money. Can't buy that. Ain't a card on earth can swipe it and not get paid me for that. It's a whole nother ball game that most people don't even get an opportunity to understand. I'm not petty enough to chase money. It's about serenity. About peace. You know? And I know I got it. As much money that I owe out every month, and I can walk around here in peace, then I know money can't buy that. If I was trying to fix things with money, I'd be crazy as I don't know what. You can't do it. People don't have the bills I have. They don't have no $500,000 mortgages, 4 houses to pay for, 6 insurance companies you got to pay every month. Before the truck pull out, they $200 gas every day. Payroll with 20 people on it. If I was trying to see money, I'd be crazy. But I could do it in peace and just trust my higher power. Even if I ain't got it, by that week everything is done. It's done, took care of itself. It's not about cash. So that's what I'm trying to say. And that's what the book is saying right here. Is that he should proceed to put those principles into action at home. At home. When you leave, when you come into the fellowship, and let's say you have a job. You got a job, then you go home, and then you go to sleep. Most of the time, the job is only 8 hours. The other 16 hours of the day is at home, whether you sleeping or awake. So, the principle, you can come into an AA meeting, to the hour meeting. If you're lucky enough, you can share for 3 minutes. Then you got to go home. You got to put this stuff in practice at home. We don't want you to come in here and go to an hour meeting, share for 3 minutes, and go home and be a werewolf. acting all crazy and stupid, you put the principles in action at home. Alright? So it says, that is, if you're lucky enough to have a home. Though a family may be at fault in many respects, he should not be concerned about that. He should concentrate on his own spiritual demonstration. A lot of times, you know, as alcoholics and addicts, once we start working on ourselves, especially me, and I start looking at my character defect, it's real easy to see someone else's. They glare. If I'm working on my resentment, I can sure see yours. If I'm working on not cursing and not getting so angry, I sure can see your anger. The 12 steps teach me to continuously work on mine, regardless of what the other person is doing. Now, I'm just telling you, they still use the word demonstration because this takes practice. I used to work on mine for 3 minutes, and you know, in an hour, the other 57 minutes we back arguing. This stuff takes practice. It takes a lot of practice and a lot of will to work on yourself in spite of the situation. I already explained last week that most of us, if you can hear my voice, you probably endured a lot of pain in your life. A lot of bad relationships. A lot of horrible people that we was in relationship with. And we was afraid to come up out of them. You know this relationship is horrible. You know you're miserable. You driving home knowing good and well you want the car to pass right by the house. You don't want to go in there. You know if you're a female and you're in a bad relationship and you got a house with a garage door, the garage is closed, he's not there, you feel good. As soon as he hit that garage thing and that garage start coming up, oh Lord have mercy. You know that. You know that this is a bad relationship. But the problem is we get comfortable in the bad relationship. We get comfortable in it. Well, bad things become normal for us. It's normal. And we don't have enough courage to go to the cliff and jump off into something new. So we prolong bad relationship, prolong misery, prolong pain because it becomes comfortable and normal. I rather just sit here because it's comfortable and get my behind and my emotions battered all the time. That's what we do. So they're saying that if you want to come up out of that, start working on yourself. Don't worry about the other person. If you want peace in your life, I have to make peace be in me. Alright? Argument and fault finding are to be avoided like a plague. Argument and fault finding. I have been in argument so bad that my throat got hoarse. Argue so much that I be coming to work the next day, hello, you know, gargling. That's not a beautiful situation at all. That I don't argue so much that I got a sore throat. Alright? Fault finding. Sitting in there thinking about what the other person doing wrong. And just building up like mimicking, like brain mimicking. Just adding on, till it consumes me. It's kind of like being in a movie, going to a movie theater, and I'm in the movie theater, and I'm there, the movie done started, 30 minutes into the movie, I'm not even aware of the people next to me on my left and my right. I'm not aware of where I'm at. I'm consumed into the movie. My emotions in there, my thoughts are into the movie, everything's into the movie. I'm enmeshed into the movie. And then when the end comes, I'll be like, darn! I didn't want it to end. I was so much into it that I wanted it to continue. That's what fault finding do. You get so enmeshed into the fault line that it consumes you, consumes me, and we enmeshed in it. And then we talking about Jesus. It said we should stay clear from it, stay away from it. That means avoid that plague, that high infectious disease. Stay away from that. It pulls you in and contaminates you. In many homes, this is a difficult thing to do. Nobody said it's going to be easy. It means working on yourself. But it must be done if any results are to be expected. You got to stand somewhere, make a decision that I have to do this. And if I won't change to take place. If I'm going to be the head of my household, then I have to make the change in order for anybody else around me to change. If persisted, you know, it's cause and effect. Every time you do something, a cause, you get an effect, right? If I'm working on myself, that's the cause. The effect is people around me, because spirituality or the 12 steps or AA or recovery is contagious. If I'm working on myself, eventually, and I'm doing a good job, good demonstration, they'll start to work on themselves. It's contagious. Alright? And I know for a fact, because I don't see this happening in my house. But going back to cause and effect, I was talking to Erica, and her uncle puts out this spirituality and wisdom thoughts every day. He's a preacher, a pastor in Texas. You know, and I got to give him credit. Every day it be some good stuff. I read it every day. And this morning's was about cause and effect. Right? He was saying he had 2 little kids. When his kids were little, 2 boys. The older one came into his room and was crying. It's about cause and effect. He was crying. So as he came in, he was crying, and his father asked him, "What's wrong with you?" He said, "My brother hit me, and he hurt me." So he was crying because the little brother, the little one, hit the big one, and the big one was crying. So he was telling about it. So as the wisdom of the father, and the uncle, he's going to tell him about cause and effect. He said, "Well, listen, your brother is too little to understand cause and effect. Because he hit you, he don't know the effect of it. Because it's cause and effect, and he don't have that awareness, so I'm going to teach it to you." So he said, "Do you understand, son?" He said, "Yeah." Boy, go back. About 10, 15 minutes later, the little boy crying. He go in the bedroom where they were playing and say, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with him?" He talked to the big one. He said, "Well, he understands cause and effect now." Yeah, you want me? He know what it means now. Alright? So, you know, the point is, the same apply to us. If we do something good, the effect gonna be good. You work on yourself, you will see the effects. It might not be immediate, because everything has an incubation time. There's nothing on this planet that does not have an incubation time. If a mother, a human being, 9 months. A chicken, 21 days. A horse is what? 16 months. The elephant is a long time. A dog is 60. I know a dog. I read a dog before. A dog is 63 days. When that dog get pregnant, 63 days later, you just, that baby coming up, that baby's coming. Them little buck dogs. You know, sometimes I call my dog babies, because I got 3 of them. And the lady asked me, like, you call them dog babies? I said, they're alive, ain't they? They got to eat. They got boo-boo. They got to be clean. They got to be washed. They got to get medication. They got to go to the vet. They babies. So I know that everything has an incubation period. So we start something now and working on ourselves. You might not see no instant results, but the incubation rule do apply. That makes sense? It's going to apply. You will get the effect of the good cause. Same with the negative. You start stealing now, you're going to get the effect of jail. You think you're getting away with it? It's an incubation time. It's just when your time, when you're born in it, you're going to blossom. And you're going to be in jail. So it's an incubation, go anywhere you go. It says that if persistent for a few months, the effect on the man's family is sure to be great. You will get a great cause. The most incompatible people discover that they have a basis on which they can meet. Little by little, the family may see their own defects and admit them. These can then be discussed in an atmosphere of helpfulness and friendliness. You know, while me and my wife working together and everything, and then you have to go home and be together, then you got to sleep together, you got to get back up together. You know, sometimes I look at her, she look at me like, please, give me a break. You know, but I found that now we're starting to just take 30 minutes out the day to sit down just to talk. Just to talk.
Yeah.
About anything you want to talk about, I listen, you talk. And that atmosphere, the discussion in that atmosphere has done wonders for our relationship. That makes sense?
Yes.
You know, I ain't talking about no trucks. We ain't talking about no bills. Just talk about whatever you want to talk about. If it's just making gumbo, I don't care. Just talk. And it works. That's a cause and effect. That 30 minutes of just sitting there talking has really set the path, no matter what time we do it, into a more friendly atmosphere that lasts longer than an argument. That makes sense?
Yes.
Argument don't, it'll last longer, but it's negative vibes,
right.
Negative energy. A decent conversation for 30 minutes about any topic you want to, in a loving manner, that lasts too. All right, the next one.
After they have seen tangible results, the family will perhaps want to go along. These things will come to pass naturally and in good time, provided, however, the alcoholic continues to demonstrate that he can be sober, considerate, and helpful, regardless of what anyone says or does. Of course, we all fall much below this standard many times. But we must try to repair the damage immediately, lest we pay the penalty by a spree.
Alright, it says, after they have seen tangible results, that's what I was just explaining, about the results of being friendly and kind for 30 minutes versus an argument. You'll see the results, and you'll feel them. The family will perhaps want to go along. These things will come to pass naturally and in good time, provided, however, the alcoholic continues to demonstrate, that means to prove, to work it out, that he can be sober, considerate, and helpful, regardless of what anyone says or does. In other words, they say we got to put this recovery first. No matter what people say about us, and no matter what happens, or what they do. At the end of the day, that let me do the next one. Of course, we will all fall much below their standard many times. I know for a fact, if you go to anybody's birthday, AA celebration, and all the recovery people usually get up and say good things or positive things about the alcoholic or the addict at the celebration. Somebody celebrate their first year, they're going to get up and say good thing, or the second year. Then the family come up around the chip time. And a lot of families say, y'all said a lot of good things about Buddy, but I don't know. I don't know now. I done seen some improvements, but it ain't on this magnitude. They know because they have to live with us. You know, y'all don't see me, but in a meeting, and my good sharing, you know, my positive talk. But when I go home, the little kids say, like, I don't know what y'all hovering over him with all that positive stuff or her. At the end of the day, this ain't who we see at home. You know? So, you know, my kids do that all the time. You know, I got one that got mouth. You know, she'll tell you in a minute. I don't know about all that spirituality crap you're talking about. That ain't who I think I just heard in the room. You know what I'm saying? So, we fall. And 9 times out of 10, the people who going to see us fall is our family members. All right, so it's going to be real hard to convince them that you all is spiritual. Because they see the good and the bad. All right. It said, but we must try to repair the damage immediately. That's a 10th step. At least we pay the penalty by a spree, by getting drunk. Remember, in the page before, you don't have to go back, it said, the only condition is that he trusts in God, in steps 1, 2, 3, and clean house, 4 through 9. Now they're telling you, over here on this page, you got to repair the damage immediately. That's a 10th step. Which is doing 4 through 9 all the time. All the time. Every time you get messed up, you got to do step 4 through 9. That's how you repair the damage immediately so it don't pile up on you. You know, you don't want the damage to get too big. If it do, you're going to go out and get hot.
Yes.
So you got to repair the damage immediately. That's step 10. But if you don't know the steps or haven't worked the steps, you wouldn't know what they were talking about if they say repair the damage immediately. You wouldn't know what the house cleaning steps are. It's very important to work these steps. Or you just a teacher with no experience. All right, Bob.
If there be divorce or separation, there should be no undue haste for the couple to get together. The man should be sure of his recovery. The wife should fully understand his new way of life. If their old relationship is to be resumed, it must be on a better basis, since the former did not work. This means a new attitude and spirit all around. Sometimes it is to the best interest of all concerned that a couple remain apart. Obviously, no rule can be laid down. Let the alcoholic continue his program day by day. When the time for living together has come, it will be apparent to both parties.
This is very important. This is one of them bam moments. This is very important, y'all. If there be divorce or separation, 9 times out of 10, if you are lucky or fortunate enough to be still in a situation to have you've been using and your significant other, your wife or whatever, is still with you through the using, and now you in recovery and they're still around, there's going to be some issues. Now, I didn't have to experience that. My first wife left me 2 years in addiction. She was out of there. So when I came here, I didn't have no relationship. That makes sense. I didn't have no kids to worry about. I didn't have to. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying me. I didn't have no kids. I wasn't in no relationship, and I didn't have no bills. I had dodged the creditor so long that I put in my mind I ain't had no bills. And I wondered about, I didn't have enough courage to go find out if I owed anybody. So them 3 was all of my life. Right? And so it was easier for me. I see guys that come in here that still have families. The wife and the kids and stuff like that. And I understand the hardship. You know, you got a guy that come in here, he got 3 little babies at home and a wife, and they struggling financially. It's hard to tell him, don't focus on your family. Because they're focused on him.
Yeah.
It's hard. You know, so it says if there be divorce or separation, there should be no undue haste for the couple to get together. You know, undue means like unnecessary. You know, it's not really necessary for them the couple to get together in a hurry. So you want to try to, that's a delicate situation. We want to try, when working with others, try to say, okay, let's come up with some kind of a plan. You might want to, you know, they have a lot of family groups now and counseling that helps real well with that. You know, so I kind of say that you have to look at that and maybe do some kind of a time plan, you know. But there's professionals in that field. And me, myself, personally, I lean toward, if you separate a divorce, let's just keep it like that for a little while. Because this is what I tell people. If you wasn't there, you know, let's get real. You want to get back now, but when you was there, you was not there. You wasn't paying no bills anyway. So, to me, it's like God was taking care of them then, and He's taking care of them now. Work on yourself. And that's easier said than done. But that's why I try to tell them, your family gonna be taken care of. And we've been in a blessed situation that we can literally have the kids right here come up here and get clothes. We don't give him furniture. Everything we can to take the pressure off so he can get recovered. That's what we try to do. Alright? I didn't say it was always right. I didn't say it always worked. But that's what we try to do. Alright, because it says the man, before he go back, should be sure of his recovery. They don't say that a lot in this chapter. Don't do anything. Don't make no bad moves. Come up with your own plans. Don't do anything but your recovery. Put it first. Alright. The wife should fully understand his new way of life. She needs to know that he needs to put his recovery first. And most women or in the family, when it comes to men, and I know the husband do it too, really do want you to get well. You know, stay over there. I told y'all a story about my mother. I didn't have a significant other and all that, but I had a mother. And my mother, she like everybody else, most mothers, she loved her son. She wanted me to come home. You know, when I'm at home, I did do stuff. I cut the grass for her. You know what I'm saying? I paint the house. I did a lot of stuff. So she wanted me to come home, and the preacher wanted me to come home. So everybody in St. Jude was telling me, stay. Don't go back to your mother's house. It didn't work. That's what they was telling me. And you know, they're my words. It don't work. It didn't work. Don't do it again. So I was talking to my mother on the phone. Every time I would call her on the phone, she's like, come back. You know, she lived out Cascade right over there. Come home. Come home. The pastor wants you to rejoin the church. He want to make you out to be a deacon. Come home. Come home. 6 months passed. I heard her say that all the time. Come home. Every conversation. 6 months went by. And you got to remember now, I've been home before. Geeking. You know. So 6 months go by, and I got 6 months clean time. I was at St. Jude, and I was going to go on a date before I was married. I had a date, hot date. St. Jude closed the whole treatment center down for the weekend. Couldn't move. Nobody. Friday at 6 p.m., you locked in, till Sunday morning, 6 a.m., you got to go to work. Everybody had, all 150 of them had to stay. I had a hot date. I got the courage to leave. You know, my mom talking to me, you got 7 months clean, whatever, why don't you just leave? I said, okay. I go up to the IHOP, a block away, I get on the phone, I dial my mother's house. I said, Mom, this place is kind of like you said. I think I'm ready to come back to the church. You know, buttering up. I'm thinking about leaving and coming to your house. Now, she been telling me for 6 months to come. She said, dead silent. When I said I'm coming home, nothing. My mother didn't say a word. Just dead silent. About a minute passed. Mom, you there? She said, yeah, I'm here. I said, well, what can I come home? She said, oh, no. She had to think about it. No, you can't come back here. I was wrong, and the pastor wrong. She said, you got 6 months clean over there. She witnessed that demonstration. She said, the pastor don't know what he's talking about. She turned her back on her pastor. He don't know what he's talking about. He ain't seen you like I seen you. St. Jude is the best place you ever been. Stay. You know what I'm trying to say? She got a full understanding. Her son is clean as sober for 6 months versus using for 30 years. See, that's how them women got to be. Them wives got to be like that. Do you really want this man home and he ain't well? Or you want him to stay with somewhere where you have a possibility of getting well? That's what they mean by it. The wife should fully understand his new way of life. If their old relationship is to be resumed, it must be on a better basis, since the former did not work. That's my thing. Did not work. I tell people all the time, the things that you did in the past before you got here, if you in here, it did not work. If you a college grad and you think going to school going to get you sobriety and you already been to school, it did not work. If you think getting a better job going to keep you clean and sober, and you 32 years old and you don't have 25 jobs, they did not work. If you think going to church, praying like you've been doing every Sunday, leaving there, going to Bible study, and you still been using, it did not work. This applies to anything in life. If it did not work, then try something different. If you give your life a chance in this 12-step program and really put yourself into it and do what you're supposed to do, it will work. I'm a living witness to that. I done seen a lot of people come in here and do it, embrace it, and live very happy, joyous, and free lives. And I still see a lot of people come in here on the do not work syndrome. It did not work, and continue to stay on that loop. It did not work. And I see them not working it over and over and over. If it didn't work, let's try something new. Faith without works, dead. You believe this program could work, and the book explains it very well. It tells you about you only can go so far. Knowledge and logic only going to take you so far. Your best thinking only going to take you so far. You're going to get to the edge, and you're going to have to jump. You got to jump. If you want a successful life on anything you want to do, you're going to have to go to the edge, and you're going to know you're going to bump, and you know you're there. What you going to do? Go. Go on. Don't turn back. Go. This means a new attitude and spirit all around. You got to change your attitude now. Look at life in a different view and have a different spirit about it, and go ahead and do it. Sometimes, you know, my dad used to always tell me, because we in a relationship and we're supposed to be working with others, but now I think the working with others become us, you know, in a way. So I think, like, my dad always tell me, man, whenever, you know, he's deceased now, but he would say, man, you ever leave a woman, make sure you do everything different that you did in that relationship. Make sure when she looked down the street and see you, like, damn, I wish I would have kept him. You know, that was he always used to teach her. Like, don't never be less than what you was when you leave her. Make her look at you and say, wow, that sure was a good man there. I was a fool. You know? That's what he always used to tell her. So, and we all tried to do that. You know? She'll call back, but you tell her, no, that's my father. He has his wisdom, you know. But the point was kind of on point. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? It was on point. Because if you change your new attitude and you got a new spirit about it, you're trying to be better than you were before. All right? Sometimes it is to the best interest of all concerned that the couple remain apart. Obviously, no rule can be laid down. We can't tell you to stay apart or go back together. We can't really do that. You know? Let the alcoholic continue his program day by day. When the time for living together has come, it will be apparent to both parties. When it's time to be rejoined, if you're going to be rejoined, both of you will know it. And by that time, both of you will probably be on a different, you know what I'm trying to say, attitude and different spiritual ground. And I done seen that work. I have seen that work. You know, I done seen some guys come in here and they have bad families, you know, and the wife was really religious and he wasn't. And I done seen him. He do his year and a half too. They get back together. I'll be walking in Kroger, you know, in one of the grocery stores or somewhere, and I bump into both of them. I bumped into some guy. He was in our program. He got like 10 years ago. Remember, 10 years ago. He got at least 12 years clean or something like that. I bumped into him. Him and his wife were just hugging and everything. But I remember their struggles. I remember how messed up it was. How they were going at each other's throats. How she moved back to her hometown. How he stayed up here and worked on himself. And then they kind of got back together. And you see them 10 years later, and they're doing well. So, they do work.
Let no alcoholic say he cannot recover unless he has his family back. This just isn't so. In many cases, the wife will never come back for one reason or another. Remind the prospect that his recovery is not dependent upon people. It is dependent upon his relationship with God. We've all seen men get well whose families have not returned at all. We have seen others slip when the family came back too soon.
All right, I say that, and that's kind of self-explanatory. We see guys and women leave treatment to go back to their family, and we beg them, literally beg them, right? We beg them, don't go, please don't go. You're doing a good job in here. You have it. You got everything it takes to stay clean and sober, and you're doing it. Please don't go home. Well, I got to go. The first one call us is the wife. Let me tell you about so-and-so. You don't have to tell me. I already know. You think he can come back? I say, yeah, we'll put him on. But I don't want him to know that I spoke to you. No, let him stay where he is. Because if you're not willing to let him go, you the one that wasn't willing to allow him to get his program together. So if you want to stay in the misery, then let it happen. But it always happens. A man who seek, or a woman who seek the money and shelter before conquering alcohol is on the wrong track. And you know what? It's the book don't lie. You can't add on to it and you can't subtract from it. It ain't gonna tell no lie. You go back too soon, you're gonna use. Because you have not worked on yourself. You haven't got past the resentments. You haven't got past the self-centeredness. You haven't got past being inconsiderate. You haven't got past none of the fears. You know, people come into treatment and, you know, our treatment facility is small. So we hear your thinking. We hear your words. We know your behavior. We know everything about you. And if you can survive this little thing, you'll be really, really better off. Because all the attention is focused on you. If you're in a big facility with 150 men, you can slide under there, under the radar. Nobody know you. I know Paul like the back of my head now, you know. But nobody can, he can't run. Every mistake he make or everything he do is exposed. But in that respect, he can recover better. That makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we see it, we can correct it. If you're in one of those facilities and you're under the radar and you're not, your defense is not being exposed, nobody gonna know but you. And it already said that self-will can't fix self-will. You can't self-diagnose yourself if you're schizo, you know, bipolar. You can't self-diagnose yourself. I'm bipolar, now I'm going to do this. I'm going to prescribe myself this. Your prescription got you in here. You know what I'm saying? You prescribed your plan of action, and that's where it got you, in treatment. All right, do the next one.
When working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate in their quarrels. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. but urge it upon a man.
Yeah, I ain't the one. No, God one, both you.
Oh, my bad. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hands were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of a higher power and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances.
Check this out. This is deep, but I don't want to go off on the deep end, you know, in the imagination and like I normally do. Like to the end. Things that I know work. But it's there. That makes sense? Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. There's a difference between being a sponsor and teaching someone the 12 steps, which is the spiritual process, than being a good old friend. Them are two different kind of sponsors. The book says you walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. And that's working the 12 steps. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. The incubation. You keep on doing and working on yourself, remarkable things going to happen. When you look back, we realize that the things which came to us when we put ourselves in God's hand were better than anything we could have planned. What they're saying is, I'm not going to even do, I'm just going to stick right with the 12 steps. If you work the 12 steps, and I can prove this is a proven fact. They're spiritual steps. They are God-given to the world, to the entire world. A spiritual plan of action. So if I were God, I would be saying like, I'm giving y'all a spiritual plan of action because you're lost. Now, if you do this work, the reward is you get to know me better. By finding yourself, you will know me. And I got everything for you. I got everything you need. I just need you to know me. So I'm going to give you a plan to understand me. That's what it's all about. I can't say it no better than that. Alright? So that's all they're saying is when we put ourselves in God's hands, we're better than anything we could have planned. So He has a plan for us. And it's the 12 steps. Follow the dictates. If you look up that word, dictate means direction, commands, or guiding principles. Now each 12 step has a principle behind it. And they're guiding principles. Honesty, open-mindedness, we got faith, we got hope, you know, we got courage, we got principle. If we connect with them principles, it's kind of like the fruit of the Spirit, then I'm showing you how to be with me. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present situation. If you just do these 12 steps, that's God given to us so we can get to know Him, so we can live in this wonderful world, this heaven that's here on earth, this utopia that's here on earth. He give us a plan so we can enter into that zone. He's giving it to us free. Yep. Ain't got to buy this. It's free. If you go somewhere and somebody says, I'm going to teach you 12 steps, pay me, run like hell. It's free. In order to keep what you have, you must give it away. is free. The key. And it says no matter what your present situation is, that's the key to peace. You have to always learn to be in the now. I said I wasn't going to go too far. I ain't going to do nothing. No matter what your situation is, it can look like your finances is crumbling. It can look like your relationships are falling apart. But if you just stay in the now, don't allow your mind to go back to the past. Don't allow your own mind to go into the future. Just stay in the now. Tell you how I do it. I learned a long time ago to make a gratitude list. Something very simple. Make something very simple. If I look at my finances and they don't look good, or my relationship with my wife don't look good, I pull out that little pad and I start writing. I'm grateful for that I got a house over my head. I'm grateful that I got my own company. I'm grateful that I'm this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful, and I do write down everything I'm grateful for. Then I write down what's bothering me or what's the matter. It never failed me. I can find 20 things that I'm grateful for right now, and 2 things that I'm ungrateful for that bother me. But the 2 things that will bother me got me to a point to make me do a gratitude list. Because if I wouldn't, I would have been messed up. And then you look at your list, and the 2 things is not important no more. Because it's insane for them little 2 things to dominate me like this. Let it go and let God. Just forget about it. Let it go. Alright? Let me do, go ahead, Paul. This is what I'm going to do. Let's just read out. It's on there. No, that's too much, man. Yeah. I just come back after the holiday. Do the next one. When working with a man.
When working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate in their quarrels. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. But urge upon a man's family that he has been a very sick person and should be treated accordingly. You should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. You should point out that his defects of character are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a period of growth. Ask them to remember, when they are impatient, the blessed fact of his sobriety.
All right. When working with a man and his family, you should take care not to participate in their quarrels. I mean, that's kind of easy for me. I don't like getting in my own argument. You know, so I really don't take sides. All right. You may spoil your chance of being helpful if you do. You know what? I found that, you know, I had some friends that were sponsoring people, and to me, I thought they got too close with the wives. You know what I'm trying to say? The other people wise. Then she calling them at 2 in the morning, talking all this and all that. I said, to me, that's just messy. Because if I, you know, I can tell you, because my first wife married my best friend. And if I wouldn't have been so damn drunk, I might would have caught the little 2 o'clock phone call. You know? And he was drunk with me. But my point is, by me doing the work, I know that will create resentment between me and my sponsor. You know what I'm trying to say? I used to tell her, nah, man, I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm trying to say? So, you know, you don't want to spoil your chance of helping him. But you don't want to be all on his side. You got to show him what his defects is. Because he don't know. You know, and it says, but urge upon a man's family that he has been a very sick person and should be treated accordingly. What I usually do is I always bring the family in and teach them about the disease of addiction, about the illness and how it works. All right? You should warn, that's what I just said, you should warn against arousing resentment or jealousy. And you shouldn't do it yourself. By talking too much with the wife or the significant other, you are creating jealousy and resentment too between you and your sponsee. Now, I done seen guys sponsor people and sleep with the people, significant others and stuff. I done seen that. I can take it to another level. You know? You should point out, now this is what I like, and then we just use this last paragraph and then cut it off. You should point out that his defects of character are not going to disappear overnight. Show them that he has entered upon a growth period. Those defects of character are not going nowhere overnight, y'all. That's for us and to show them. You come into if you're working on yourself, that's what we mean, working on yourself. If you're working on a defect of character, the only way you're going to be able to retain that character or get it under control is when it flare up. You're going to have to work on it some more. It's not gone overnight. You know, the psychologists and psychiatric people tell you that any habit, you can't really change the habit. You got to replace the habit. And you got to do something else for 30 days. You know, maybe for us it might be 130 days. But you're going to have to replace the habit. You know, and it's kind of like rivers in our brain. That's why I studied it. Like channels. And then once you stop using it, the channel will dry up and flow another direction. You know, so my thing is that if our defects do not disappear overnight, how do we think we can come into recovery and stay 30 days and go home? 90 days. I'm a warrior for long-term treatment because I believe it works. But if you can't afford long-term treatment or you have abused long-term treatment, you need to get a sponsor and walk day by day spiritually. Because it's very important to know that the defects of character, you're not cured. Okay, nobody in AA gonna lay some hands on you and you okay when you walk out. Man, put no oil on your forehead and say you okay when you leave here. Because we know better than that. This is a working program, a program that you have to demonstrate. There's no instant cure. Are you going to make mistakes? Yes. Are we going to piss other people off? Yes. Are we going to do something to hurt ourselves and feel guiltful and in shame? Yes. But we don't have to pick up.
Yes.
You don't have to use. You just keep on going, and you get better and better and better. And that takes time. You know, people tell me about, I know for my first 5 years, I can honestly tell you, my brain, I had no short-term memory. I can remember stuff down the road. But short-term memory, I couldn't remember that. I leave upstairs, say I'm going in the back and do something. By the time I get down the steps, I don't even know what I was going to do. And I had it was so bad that I just stop. And don't panic. I didn't have no panic attack or nothing. I just say, well, we'll come back. Go on about my life. I didn't let it worry me no more. It's okay. And then eventually that went away. Same, and then, when one go, another one pop up, so it don't matter. Ain't gonna start coming in. And it go away. It's just a living process, but your life get better. All right, thank y'all for a good meeting.